What's up? Happy New Year's Eve. Shakas for you. Another solid, rooted parent talk story sesh for you guys. All right, got my good friend Christina Campo, the impactful parent, coming on. Let's go. Just gonna jump on in a few, but in the meantime, as we wait, how you doing? Hopefully you're feeling solid. Yeah, New Year's Eve. Set your intention. I know it's been a crazy year, but just know that we're here. We're here together. Take a deep breath. Just know, 2021, let's stay resilient, yet flexible. Yeah, so that's my intent this whole day, is getting into that state of resiliency, of community, of love, of understanding, care, compassion, and infinite possibilities. Yeah, that's just been my mantra the past like 2-3 weeks. Let's see. I should shoot her invite, huh? Besides just talking all day. All right, let's see here. Oh, you can do filters and stuff. What the? Should be jumping on pretty soon. Oh, here. Cool. So in the meantime, let's do some breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Like the box breathing. So you can do 4 seconds, 2-3 seconds, but just go 3 seconds. Inhale. Oh, here you go. Exhale. Perfect. And waiting for 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, there you go. Woohoo! What's up? How you doing?
Hello, how are you?
Yes, Happy New Year. I was just breathing with everyone here, but yeah, we got last rooted parent talk story of the year. Set
Nice.
off with the bang, super solid. But yeah, I was just telling everyone about just going into the new year with your intention and with resilience, with flexibility, with love, with care, compassion, and understanding. Because yeah, what 2020 taught us was resilience and compassion. Not only for others, but for ourselves is really, really heavy. So, but yeah, I just want to say thank you. Appreciate you. I know we got my podcast coming up, but this is all about you here. I wanted to just, with these Rooted Parent Talk stories, I just love just connecting communities. Yeah. So basically just cross-pollinating, your community with my community and just overall just sharing goodness. And yeah, I just want people just to be exposed to you and your energy and what would you bring to not only for your community, but just everyone in general. But yeah, I love just starting off with, just your own intro. I just find it powerful once someone introduces themselves, they feel the energy and everything. But yeah, so kind of introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, your mission, and yeah, if you want to, say how many kids you got, all those other good stuff. But, yeah, just take it away, kind of just go for it.
Yeah, so I'm excited to be here. Thank you. I'm Christina Campos. I'm founder and managing principal of the Impactful Parent. And the Impactful Parent is basically an online support system for you. It's absolutely free, where you can get free tips, advice, resources to help you with your school-age child. So that's what I love to do. That's my passion, is helping parents learn how to connect with their kids or help them through the turbulent times of those teenage years, or just help with some behavior management issues that they may have. So that's what I do. And before I go any further, I want to say thank you so much, because you're going to be on here on Sunday. Sergio is part of the Big Impact that's coming up. That's my weekly thing that I do. It's called the Big Impact. And Sergio is going to be on there this coming week. So I'm super excited to have him on because as parents, we are so freaking busy all the time, all the time. And yet we want to take care of ourselves. I know that in the new year now, a lot of us have health goals, fitness goals, things like that. And it's sometimes really hard to find the time to do that, take care of yourself and take care of your kids. So what I loved about having you on my platform was to be able to talk to us about how we can incorporate exercise and movement in our family, and so we can all do it together. And it doesn't have to be a separate thing. So I just loved that. Thank you for contributing to my community with that. So awesome.
Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, just like I'm all about it. I found like the past, like I was talking to one of my coaches, and then he was like, "Dude, you're just a really good networker." Like yes, as far as like, and that's what really gets me like juice, like really meeting other people, and you know, not only connecting and learning from others, but also just like highlighting other people and really sharing what they have, and like that's what like really gets me juice. Like not only you know the health, fitness, and helping others get healthy and everything, but from a networking or even just in inner superpower, as they say, it's like that's one of the things that really gets me juice is really building that tribe and a community. It really gets me juice. But yeah, it's exciting just to you know get to know you and everything like that. And as far as diving into the impactful parent, kind of just diving more into I always like to find out you know the origin story behind a name or origin story behind an actual you know a mission. But how did you come up with impactful parent, and what does that really mean to you when someone says the impactful parent when it's tied to your name?
You know, my origin story is long. I'm gonna give you a really abbreviated version.
Yeah.
But basically, I was a teacher for over 20 years. Absolutely loved teaching. I had a very unique experience where I wasn't just in one classroom. I was an electives teacher, so I actually taught preschool through middle school all within one day, and like got to see an entire school within the week for every week. So it was really awesome to learn how to meet kids developmentally appropriately wherever they were at. But I love that. The problem is I'm a giver, and I give and I give, and sometimes I just give too much and I don't know when to stop. And teaching is one of those professions that you just do not. I can't just turn it off at the end of the day and not think about the kids anymore. So it came to a crossroads in my life where things were turning upside down. I was getting a divorce. I was trying to find a new path on myself. I was trying to rediscover myself because I had lost a little bit of myself in parenthood at the time. And with all of that, I had two emerging teenagers and two other young kids. And I saw that they needed me more than that they had needed me in the past. We were going to go through some big changes coming up, and you know, your kids come first. So I had to make that super hard decision of stop taking care of everybody else's kids and start really focusing on my own. And with that, I still was like, well, what can I do? If I'm not a teacher, what could I do? I still love to teach. That's what I want to do. That's my like calling in life.
Yeah.
And what I ended up coming up with was I know a whole lot about kids and I can really help parents. So I thought that's where I'm going to go with this. I'm going to found an organization where I can help parents. And that's where the Impactful Parent was born. I picked the Impactful Parent because that's what you want to be. It's not like the best parent. It's not the perfect parent. It's not, you know, whatever. It's just impactful. To be there for your children is impactful. Sometimes we're not always positively impactful,
Yeah.
but that's okay. That's just how parenting is. But most of the time the goal is to just, you know, lead them in the right direction. Give them some help.
Yeah. No, yeah. 100%. Yeah. Because then it's not necessarily like you have to have all the answers, but it's more of being that guide. And, you know, and this is powerful when you say like help the parents, because even for me, that's my belief as far as once you nourish yourself as a parent, you're going to be better equipped and, you know, better equipped to handle the rigors of parenting, you know, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And yeah, as far as like once you begin to nourish yourself, once you become, you plant that seed of, becoming an impactful parent, there, that identity piece is like, oh, okay, this, I can start to nourish myself here so I can impact my children. And then there, you're planting the seed. So if and when they have children, then they're going to feel that impact that you brought upon them. And there's this now a multi-generational ripple effect, right? So it's
yeah, it's exactly what you also preach and through your teachings too. That's what we're just trying to do, is impact our kids in a positive way.
Nice. No, yeah. And then as far as really deciding for like school age children, because I know you said like preschool and you worked all the way to that certain age and everything. Well, what's like the actual if you were to choose like an age range that not only you attract as far as clients and everything, but that you really want to work with?
Yeah, so I say that anybody from the age parents of children 8 to 18 can come and find things with the Impactful Parent and like amazing resources that's going to help them. My specialty though, I really like those tween years. I really love that 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and even 13, 14. When they're in middle school. I have just a thing about middle school kids. I love them.
Yeah.
I know it's weird.
Yeah.
That's it tends to be the really critical point of your parenting. If you can do well in that particular time frame between 8 and 14, then you're setting them up to be successful as a teenager when they will be developmentally appropriately pulling away from you and trying new things. But we instill all those values right before that happens. And so if parents can come to me between that 8 and 14 time period, then it just makes the teen years that much easier. Not easy, but easier.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's powerful because my son Elijah, he's 6, going to be 7 in September. But yeah, I'm entering that phase of those tween years. So, and I kind of see him. I kind of see him, developing his own thought process and his own feelings, emotions, and like the way he just processes things. As far as just life in general. So it's like, oh shoot, he's getting there and really being that like independent, conscious like thinker. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you said, like instilling those values. One of my friends, like a fellow colleague, Chris Flo, he just launched a book about building your legacy and like values. So and principles. So that actually influenced me to really type down and write down our own family values, and I actually wrote it down with Jovi, my partner, and now it's acronym Aloha. So basically, it's ALOHA. So A is for Aloha, which is love, and then L is for Lokahi, which is unity, and then O is for Ohana, which is family, and then H is Ha'aha'a, which is like be humble, and then A is for Alakai, which is like leadership. So that's our family values here, and it keeps me tied also to back home in Hawaii and stuff. So, but yeah, I guess for someone say in my shoes, I have a 6 or 7-year-old entering those tween years. What would be like 1 to 3 like tips or advice as far as planting that seed to get them ready for high school and for that detachment of going on their own?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that I preach more than anything else, like my thing, I guess, is I say that children need 3 things, and it's actually people, but children need these 3 things, and it doesn't even matter what age. So if you have a child that's younger to a child that's older, it doesn't matter. They need these 3 things, and those 3 things, the first one is security. And that security, like physical security, they got to make sure that they're safe, right? Physically safe. Comes from caveman days when, the bear's not going to come in and eat you. I'm going to protect you. But also securing their love for you, or your love for them. I mean, that no matter what, you will love them. It doesn't matter if they're the straight A student and they don't end up being that, you're going to love them anyway. It doesn't matter if they're going to disagree with you, you love them anyway. We say this a lot as parents, like, of course, I love my kids unconditionally, but a lot of times we don't actually walk the walk. We believe it, but we don't actually walk the walk. So they'll do something, and the way we come at our kids sounds like we're disappointed in them, that they're not living up to our values, and we get angry with them, and then they don't feel secure in your love. So it doesn't matter how you feel, it matters how your child feels. Do they perceive that you will love them no matter what? So tip number one, make sure that your child really feels secure in that you're going to love them no matter what. And it's more than lip service. It's actually physical things that you will do. Maybe it's like how you respond when they get in trouble. Things that are not going to scare them, that you're taking away their love. The second thing that kids need is acceptance. And it's really similar to security, but it is different. And kids need acceptance not only from peers, but also from you. And that acceptance is, will you accept them for whoever they choose to be? Whoever. So even if they decide not to go to college and they would rather work with their hands instead of being like an intellectual, you will accept them for who they want to be. I see the most obvious example to this is parents who say, I love my kids no matter what. So that's the security, right?
Yeah.
But then as they become merging adults, maybe they start to identify with the LGBTQ community. And now the parent doesn't want to accept them for those things. And so that's not what we want to do. We want to accept our kids no matter who they are developing into, because you may have given a life, but it's not your life to live. So it's about accepting your kid for whoever they are. We're more of a guide or a teacher or a coach than anything else when you're parenting. So if you're trying to mold a mini me, that's where a lot of things go wrong sometimes, because we're having these expectations and we're not accepting them for their individuality. We want them to be us, right? So that would be the second thing. Make sure that your kid knows that you accept them no matter what. And the third one is kids need a little bit of power. And this is really misunderstood, but what that is that they need to know that they matter. They need to know that when they do something, there's a consequence to their action, that it's even if it's a bad consequence, they want to know that if they do something, there's a reaction in the world. Because if you do something and there's nothing, then you're kind of like, well, then what does it matter? Who cares?
Yeah.
And if you don't feel like you have an influence in your own world, then you start to feel powerless. If you feel powerless and then you feel hopeless turns into depression. Depression turns into self-harm. And it does domino effect like that really easy. So you want to give your child some power in their own life. And this is where parents that maybe control a little too much come into play. I'm not saying don't put boundaries, because boundaries are absolutely necessary. Rules, boundaries, that's what creates the security, which was number one, right? But you need to let your kids have some power, some choice in their own lives, so that they don't feel helpless or hopeless or just no control, no sense of purpose. And the best way to give your kids choices, or to do that, is to give them choices. The best way to give them power. So, quick example, if you have a kid, maybe a toddler even, you have a toddler, they want to tie their shoes, okay? They're being independent. I want to tie my shoes. You got to get out the door. You got to go. You're going to be late. Some days you can be late. Today you can't. You have to put down the hard boundary. I'm sorry, but you have 5 minutes to tie your shoes. After that, I'm going to have to take you and put you in the car. Okay, so you warn them. You know that after 5 minutes, they didn't have a chance to tie their shoes.
Yeah.
So what do? You say, I'm sorry, you're going to have to get into the car. Of course, the child now feels powerless. You just took away all their control. You took away all of their choices. What are they going to do? They're probably going to tantrum. They're going to be sad. They're going to say, what? I want to do it. I can do it. I can do it. Okay. So instead, shift it. Give them some power back. Say, all right, I'm sorry that we have to leave right now. But that's not the choice. What you do have a choice is, we have to get to the car. Would you like to jump to the car? Would you like to act like a kangaroo to the car? Do you want me to carry you to the car? When we get into the car, do you want to listen? Do you want to pick the music that we're going to listen to? It just gives them back something when you take away that power, and it keeps their tank full in a lot of ways. And when you are validating that their opinion matters, their actions matter, that's what's going to help them be more confident to make good choices when they start to become teenagers and you're starting to believe in them. But when we start taking away and saying, nope, you can't do that, and we don't give explanation, and nope, I'm sorry, you can't go there, can't see your friends, it feels sad.
Yeah. That's where they feel like hopeless and, just just powerless, basically. It's like, oh, why am I even here if I can't do anything? Type of like thinking, right? So no, that's powerful. Yeah, especially with the choices. That's what I've been implementing with Elijah for a while, as far as like him realizing, oh, he has a choice. You know what I'm saying? And like also just like having him, it reminds me of of Maslow's like hierarchy of needs. When they're explaining all this stuff, like shelter and safety and all the other stuff, feeling safe first, and then getting into that next layer of just acceptance, and really like because he's in the phase of like really loving space and geography and like those two main things, where and anatomy. Yeah, he like bounces between those three things. And there's days where he's like, I want to be a neuroscientist. It's like, oh, I want to be a astronaut. And he asked me like one day, he's like, oh, what can I be when I grow up? Then I was all like, well, number one, be yourself. and then number two is like, you don't necessarily have to choose right now. You can, just whatever interests you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, just go for it. So like, yeah, right now he's really deep into space. So for Christmas, he got a whole bunch of like National Geographic space stuff. So kind of just like feeding and nourishing what he's interested in now. Because, in 2 weeks, it could be something else. Right. Yeah. So there, like you said, like also like accepting like his interests and like who he is as a person, because we gotta realize like this is an actual human. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like this isn't just like your son or your daughter or your child. This is an actual like living human being here that, like you said, we're helping to guide and just cultivate just the goodness that we feel that is good in our like lens of reality, right? So but yeah, those three things are like they're simple, but they're powerful. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they're super simple, but you can get into that deep layer of like each one. Like, all right, how deep do you really want to go with this? Especially the empowerment piece. Like, yes. That's like a powerful rule is really feeling planting the seed of empowerment, right? Because then once a child gets into high school, there's going to be, like you said, they're going to start branching off, and then they can choose their circle of friends, or now they're going to be influenced with like social media and stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So here there's like social media, external influences and everything. So if you feel less empowered, but if you have a sense of empowerment of choice, you're going to be swayed to go here, swayed to go here because everyone else is going here. So yeah, it's
if you don't let your child learn how to make and deal with the consequences of their choices when they're little, then what happens is as they get older, they don't know how to make choices anymore. And then sometimes they don't realize the consequences of the choices. So the earlier you can instill your child making choices and then actually letting them sit in the consequence of that. So much of I would say what the most common error parents do, and for this empowerment piece you're talking about, is they mask protection as a way to justify not letting their child have choices. For example, like, no, I don't want you to spend your money like that because that's a waste. That toy is only going to last for a second, and then you're going to, and you worked hard for that money. Don't buy that toy. Okay, so something like that. So you just took away their choice. Let them, instead of buy the toy, figure out that it's a piece of crap and it's not going to last very long. But next time they might make a better choice, and that's how they learn. Otherwise, they're just kind of taking your word for it all the time.
Yeah.
And then they don't really know. So, or like, no, you can't do that because, oh my goodness, like that's going to turn out bad. You're going to get hurt. So a lot of our, we're protecting our kids comes from so much love because we don't want to see them hurt, in pain, waste something that, they're going to be sad about later. And so then we overprotect our children, but then they don't learn anything.
Mm. Yeah.
So, and as you get older, the stakes are higher, right? With those choices that the teenagers make. So the younger that you can start your child with this process of making a choice, sitting in that consequence when you're there and the consequence is just a crappy little toy that's going to break versus staying out past curfew or, doing something like a teenager would do with a lot bigger consequence, then, you're just better off. So.
Yeah. No, yeah. I guess we can kind of transition into that, so you get the one common, I guess mistake that people make with, or parents make with empowerment and power. What about for, acceptance and all that? Like, what is one common mistake, or even just, this common thing that you've seen parents do day in and day out as far as the acceptance piece for your top three?
Yeah, the acceptance piece is the second thing that parents have trouble with these three things. And the acceptance piece is confusing physical goals with qualities of the child. So let me explain that. So I'm like, you have it in your brain, from the minute you had a baby, you had a vision of what parenting was going to be like and what your kid was even going to be like. Okay. They're going to go to college. They're going to be a doctor. Maybe they're going to go to a special school. Maybe they're going to be married someday. You have these goals for your child. And a lot of times it's like better than what you had. So you want so much for them. Again, it's masked in love. You want so much for them. But then when that kid doesn't want to go to college or doesn't want to get married, doesn't want to have kids, maybe wants to marry a same-sex partner, and then all of a sudden your vision of what you thought your kid was going to be and what they were going to do just gets turned upside down. Parents have a hard time accepting that. But really, it's about quality. So those things that I just mentioned, those are like events that you expect your kids to do. Go to school, get married. Instead, as parents, we need to focus on qualities that you want to instill in your child. Like, okay, it doesn't matter if they go to college, but I do want them to value learning. Mm-hmm. So maybe they're learning a craft instead, a trade, or again, I want them to value love and be happy with a partner. Does it matter what the partner look like, their race, their sex, or whatever? If your kid's happy, is that really what you're looking for? So it's about really going for the quality versus the actual event that you probably have stuck in your brain.
Yeah. Nice. No, love that. Yeah, because then it's especially for like younger children, as far as like say if they're drawing, or it's like, oh, like not really hyping up the actual drawing, but really letting them know, it's like, oh, you're so focused with that drawing. I appreciate how focused you are with this drawing, and look how focused you are, and then acknowledging that piece, because then there's like, if you keep acknowledging the the drawing itself, it's like, oh, I've got to make mommy and daddy happy because they're so happy because of this drawing. It's got to be perfect. The drawing's got to be perfect. So no, yeah, the quality is super, super powerful. No, yeah. And then as far as getting into the security piece, that's kind of, I don't want to say straightforward, but what's a one, I guess, same thing, common mistake that parents do as far as the security piece for you?
Yeah, that one, it is a little bit more straightforward, but I would say that they know that they love their child no matter what, and that it goes back to them not really showing it the way that their child accepts that belief. And again, it's not about what we think, it's about what they think, how they perceive it. So it goes, a lot of times the reaction of how we react to our child when either they make a mistake or they fall or they fail at something, or where we come out as disappointment and we start to shun our kids, and it feels unloving. And when it feels unloving to them, that's when they don't feel quite as secure. So, and one thing just to keep in mind, like your child, we always say, oh, I want my child to come to me no matter what. When they're in trouble, I want them to come to me. Okay. Then when they get into trouble, you better not yell at them. And then this starts early. This starts super early. Mm-hmm. If your child makes a mistake and they're little and you're like, no, why did you do that? What were you thinking? That's ridiculous. Pick it up or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay. They made a mistake and they're just getting yelled at. The next time they make a mistake, guess what? I don't want to tell you.
Yeah.
I don't want you to yell at me. I don't want to feel like I disappointed you. Mm-hmm. I don't want to feel like, whatever feelings that you stirred up inside of them. So how you react to them is so critical for that security piece.
Mm-hmm. Nice. No, yeah. Then as far as if a child does make a mistake and all this other stuff, I always, even for me, like I do that deep breath, like even if I feel like my blood's like boiling and stuff, if Elijah did something that just irritates the crap out of me, you know what I'm saying, or like, oh, like yeah, why do you do that? Like, because growing up too, like my mom didn't yell a lot, but she was a yeller as far as like whenever his single mom, 3 boys, like, oh shoot, I would be pretty frustrated too, but as far as us growing up, but that inner like that feeling of like yelling, and then I remember how I felt when my mom would yell at us. So there's like, oh, I don't want to transition that energy as far as like not necessarily fear, but like oh crap, yeah, I don't want to make dad upset, So yeah, it really transitions.
Okay. Yeah. Parents are people. We have feelings.
Yeah.
And you can show those feelings to your kids. Yeah. Sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh, what just happened? I need a minute so I don't yell at you. You can even say that.
Yeah.
And say, I need to take a second because I don't want to react badly to this.
Yeah.
That is very powerful to your child, even if they're a toddler, because they'll be like, what? Okay.
Yeah.
So it's okay to have all of our feelings. It's just a matter of...
For sure. Yeah. Because that's what Elijah does too. He was like, because I tell him, like, if he's upset, I was like, oh yeah, it's like at first, like, are you okay? And it was like, I'm just so upset right now. I was like, oh shoot. It's like, oh, why are you upset? And then he just explains why, and then we just listen to him. You know what I'm saying? So there, it's like really like coming with that understanding piece of like where they're coming from, because they're not gonna want to knock over something on purpose for the most part, right? But yeah, as far as transitioning into what your mission has done for you personally, I guess growing through 2020, what are some lessons that not only your clients or even just your journey with the impactful parent, what has that taught you this past year with 2020?
2020 was a lot of lessons for me. I actually just did a blog on that actually too. Each one of my kids taught me something for 2020 that was really important for me to learn. My oldest son, he's 18 and he's going to be going off to college next year. And so this particular kid, I was grateful to have the opportunity to spend some real quality time with him and to be there for support when there was no prom and graduation and homecoming and the dances and no more sports. And that was really hard for high schoolers. But to be there to support him. So what I've learned is that just being there, really having that empathy ear. I mean, I knew it before, but this year put it to the test with all the things that the kids were missing out on. My next oldest in line is that kid that withdraws and like headphones all the time and doesn't hear until you're like, hello.
Yeah.
That one's 16, and that child this year taught me how to not give up on. You feel like you're nagging your kid, but that consistent check-in. Are you okay? How are you feeling? How can I help you? I know this is not easy right now. That the power of short, honest check-ins was really critical in 2020 for that child, to keep them knowing that I was there for them if they needed it. Otherwise, I was going to give you your space, because some kids need space too.
Yeah. Yeah.
The next kid in line, can I have four? The
Yeah.
next kid in line, that one just also needed me to just be there for him and kind of bend some of the rules this year. He's had a lot of anxiety. And so with no routine, because we get into a routine and then things would kind of change, or maybe we go back to school for a while and we'd have to get out and go back. And with no routine, I just learned how to be a lot more flexible in my rules with him and saying, you know what, it's okay. You want to sleep in my room tonight on the couch? Because I have little couches in my room. You want to sleep in my room on the couch? If it makes you feel better, fine. Like, it's not hurting anybody. You're not going to be 21 and still sleeping on my couch. I won't let that happen. So,
Right.
It'll be okay. So to really meet your kid at emotionally is where I was pushed with that child.
Mm.
And my last child is my youngest, and she's only 8. And she taught me that the small acts of kindness can really make a big difference in times like this. She got bored one day, but she also saw that the world was sad, and she felt that gray cloud kind of hanging over us. And so she went out and collected rocks from the street and then painted them with like words of encouragement, and then spread them out all over the park so that people could find her rocks. And things like, it's okay, be happy, somebody likes you, like words of encouragement. Yeah. And it's, but it was nice to see that, like, yes, it's little things, like little acts of kindness that can really make the day for someone who found her rock that needed to hear that message, and then maybe hopefully even passed it on to the next person. Mm-hmm. So that kind of power is what's going to get us through 2021, I think.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then when you hear your story, it's like, yeah, because every single person in your life is going to have, lessons for you and blessings for you. Right. And then as far as that rock, I just picture, having those words and throwing it in, a lake or ocean, and then that ripple effect. Like you don't know, the ripple is going to happen, but you don't know how far it's going to reach and who it's actually going to reach. It could reach someone, 100 miles away, or it could reach someone right across the lake. Right. But that ripple is going to actually, reach out into the universe, into the world. Right. So that's powerful. Yeah. You got some good kids. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. But, as far as,
I like them.
Yeah. It's already 140. This is perfect. Yeah. So as far as tapping into, our outro and everything, if, parents are intrigued and they really love your vibe, and also good stuff, like, how can they find more information about you, about your work, and even deeper, like how can they work with you if they wanted to really hone in on their parenting coaching skills?
Yeah, well, it's super easy. I'm at The Impactful Parent on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and everywhere, YouTube even. And most of what I do is free. So come on over, get some free tips, grab some free resources from my website, which is theimpactfulparent.com. For your listeners particularly, I actually have a free PDF for you guys, which with those 3 needs that kids need, I have a free PDF that has questions that you can ask your school-age child to see if they feel like those needs are being met. Because again, it's not about you, it's about them, how they feel. So these are questions you can sit down and talk to your kid about, start that conversation, and you can see if there's holes in security, acceptance, or power. And that's at theimpactfulparent.com/what every child needs.
Nice. Right on. Cool. Yeah. So super easy. You're pretty much everywhere. Yeah. Just the impactful parent. Yeah. I appreciate you. Is there any last words of encouragement going into 2021 that you want to share with other parents here, or even non-parents here, like just to the world and universe? You have one last words of wisdom and encouragement for 2021?
Yeah, well, first of all, you're going to be on Sunday, The Impactful Parent, so make sure you check you out.
Yes.
You did an amazing interview for me, and I'm so grateful to you for that. So that's going to be coming out on Tuesday on The Impactful Parent, so check that out for to watch Serge. And then, just parenting is hard. Parents need other parents. So just, I'm here. I'm a real person over here. I
Yes.
love to help parents. Like, I think people think, it just seems so fake when you the social world or whatever, but I'm a real person. Come and find me. I would love to help you. There's going to be some new programs coming out in January to help moms specifically. And you can listen to the podcast. I have a podcast too. Again, more, the impactful
Yeah.
parent.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but you got this. I'm just here to help.
Nice. Right on. Thank you. Appreciate you. I'm gonna DM you right after this. But yeah, everyone go follow homie Christina here, the impactful parent. Thank you. Appreciate you so much. And I got my interview coming on. She interviewed me. So we're gonna get Tuesday. Check it out. The impactful parent. Love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Everyone, thank you. Happy New Year. Be safe. Stay strong. Love each other. Stay rooted. All right. See you guys.